Hi crafty friend, it's Justine. I hope you're doing so well. Today I have a whole bunch of cards to show you. I'm using the Holiday Hugs collection. So I have a few at the end that I'll show. I'm going to make one on camera, but this collection is super cute. I'll pop a picture on the screen of some of the products here and we can just chat about them. First we have the Gnome Hugs, which is just adorable. There's that gnome. I just love all of the shading they did on that card, by the way. But the gnome itself is adorable, and then it has that little gnome as well. And in that die set is the Swedish Dala Horse. You guys, I am obsessed with this horse. I am about 50% Swedish, and it is like my thing. I love the Dala Horse. Basically, the horse used to be a little child's toy from one region in Sweden, and I probably would butcher the name, but it sounds like Dala. It's Dalan. I don't speak Swedish, so there's that. But it was just a little toy, and now it is kind of this symbol, if you will, and it's supposed to be for good luck, you know, whatever. But I just really love the style of that horse. And then there's also this Santa die, and this one is a really cute, cheerful Santa. I love that his beard has these really playful curls. So that's just adorable. And then we have the snowman. I feel like I've said adorable a few times, but this whole collection, Holiday Hugs, is adorable. So the snowman is very cute as well. And the snowman has that stamp set, so you can kind of customize his face. So that's pretty neat. And then there's the Hugs accessories, so that's going to be able to give you like the post there, the little signs, and a banner, and a bow, a few hearts. Just make everything just so stinking cute. And then the Gnome Hug Sentiments is what I just fell in love with, pairing with the Dala Horse die. So even though that die is teeny tiny, it is such a good one. And then there's also this stamp set. I'll change the picture now. But there's the stamp set that's called Holiday Hugs Sentiments. And that is just so neat because you can pair that with either Friends Frames, which came out a while ago. But you can pair that with the really any paper, and you can make a postcard. And I did that on one of my cards, so I'll show that to you at the end. And then there are two quick backgrounds. So one of them has like the pine trees and the snowballs, and the other one is the red and the green, kind of a textured look. But those are smooth papers, just so you know. So when I made my Dala Horse, I actually used that red paper with the little dots on it. I love, you can see how shiny it is there and smooth. But I love the look of this, and it really just gives a little bit of texture to the Dala Horse without even doing anything besides die cutting. So that is fabulous. So let's just jump right into this card. I took the stamps, this big one. These are all from the stamp set that is the gnome one. This one. Gnome Hug Sentiments. So it's big here, that kind of like a sweater texture, these two kind of sprigs, and then that little sprig there. And then just made this scene on the bottom. So I'm going to take my card panel. This is 3 3/4, I think. Yes, because I cut it down so it would have 2 layers of matting behind it. So I'm going to make an A2 size, so that's this blue paper is A2. It's 5 1/2 by, or 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then the yellow paper is 4 inches by 5 1/4, and then the white paper is 3 3/4 by 5 inches, and that gives that really nice layered border. I've loved doing the 3 layers of paper recently. It just looks really pretty. So I'm going to take this white panel, put it in my mini Misty. I love my mini Misty. I just think that it is fabulous. It's a little less expensive than the big one. I do have the big one as well, but when I'm card making, You probably relate. I don't have a ton of space on my desk sometimes because when I get crafting, it just gets kind of full. So the mini one is kind of my go-to Misty. I am using the Tuxedo Black Memento ink. I'm going to pull out my Copic markers, so I figured I'd use a water-based ink and not have issues with those. I just re-inked this yesterday. I ended up getting ink all over my fingers, which was just fabulous because I was going to do a live yesterday night, and I did. Oops, I forgot that I was going to center this. So because everything is a little off because my paper is smaller, I did line up my stamps so I would have a whole square of my paper on the edge. So hopefully that turns out. If I was thinking about it a little bit more, I probably would just line it up with the corner, which is the easiest, but you know, you can shake your head at me at home and I'll just keep making my card. Okay, well, we got some black there. I think it was just one square, so I am going to line it up there and just hope for the best. Worst comes to worst, I just try again on another piece of paper. And I am going to use my pressure tool. This one my husband made for me. You can buy them online, but I always think handmade is just better. So I'll link one if I can find one on scrapbook.com. But I love this one, and since my husband made it for me, it's extra special and super sparkly. He knows I'm extra, so he went with the sparkly doorknob. Okay, perfect. That turned out great. Since this is the Memento ink, I'm not going to emboss any clear embossing on this, although I love doing that. But the Memento ink isn't really good for embossing, so we'll just move right along. Okay, the Swedish colors are yellow and blue. The Dala Horse traditionally is that bright red, almost like an orangey red color. So I just chose a few different Copic markers to add a little bit of color to my project here and kind of stick with those traditional colors. I do have a few more cards coming up later here in this video that are less traditional colors, and they're just a little more playful. So I have one that's red and teal. After I got my nails done, this Listerine green color, I feel like I've been reaching for teal all the time. And if you don't believe me about the Listerine green, here's a Listerine product, and if that isn't a color match, I don't know what is. Anyway, I'm going to put some red on these little poinsettia looking things. They could be a snowflake. It just kind of depends on your interpretation of this, but it definitely has that Scandinavian look to it. So that was R27. Then I will try some Y08, which is this yellow. I'm just going to add dots of this yellow just to kind of coordinate with the background paper, but it's not going to be too sophisticated. It's just a little bit of fun. How's everyone's summer going? I have had kind of a fun little time here in August. I went quilt shop hopping. If you've ever done that, let me know in the comments. In Minnesota, there's a huge quilt hop going on right now for the whole state, and they actually have a really big prize. If you turn in your finished quilt hop, you can be entered for an Alaskan cruise, which is crazy. I will not be making it to all of the locations, but I did go to a few in our region, and we were able to get a few little prizes, so that was really neat to do, and I had a ton of fun with my family. My dad drove us around because they're both retired, and it just was a really fun family time for us in the car. It's kind of like a mini road trip, if you will. But I am not a quilter, so if you're wondering, now you know. But my mom is. After she retired, quilting kind of became a fun thing for her to do. She's always been a pretty good seamstress, and now she has time. So she's been quilting, and I've been helping her pick out fabrics, and every time we went into a quilt shop, I just fell in love with another quilt that was pinned on the wall somewhere. So that is just kind of my personality, I think. It's kind of like when I see Spellbinders dies, I'm like, wow, I love it. And I really do, because I love crafting. So there you have it. But she has been sewing some pouches, and she's also been sewing, I think they're called thread catchers. I'll show you in just a minute here when I'm done coloring. But these thread catchers are so cool, and she made one for me. So when I'm doing my stitching, I have somewhere for my thread to go. So I'll show you at the end here, but it's really cute. And she used this really fun fabric from this woman called Tula Pink. If you're a quilter, you might have heard of Tula. It's a woman. Yes, her last name is Pink. It's kind of fun. What a great last name. But yeah, Tula Pink, her fabrics are kind of crazy. They're kind of out there. A lot of bright colors, a lot of animals. So because I really did like the skunk one, she made a thread catcher for me with the skunk pattern. So here it is. It's great because it's small, and this is going to go in my Sewing on the Go kit, which I make for myself. But here it is all wrapped up, but to pop it out, you just kind of pop it, and then that sits right by you. And so when you're stitching and you have a little tail of something or something to throw away, you've got it in there. You can just empty it out, and then you twist it and then you twist it to put it back together, and it's all set for the next time. So I think we're going to sell these at a craft sale that we're going to do in October. I don't know. We'll see. And then she's definitely going to sell some of her pouches at that craft sale, but I don't know if she's going to bring the thread catchers or not. It depends on how many she has, I think. But they're really easy to make. I don't know if she got the pattern on Pinterest or what, but distracted, and I put glue behind my Dala Horse, so I'm just gonna pat that off because I forgot to put the snowflake on it. Okay, first I'm gonna put the snowflake on the Dala Horse. Now, if you look at pictures of the Dala Horse online, you'll see that it's not just a snowflake typically. There's a lot of swirls and patterns and dots that go on them that kind of make the harness or a bridle for it, but it's all just kind of whimsical. So I like the fact that the snowflake fits nicely on the horse, and it just kind of has a good look to it. So what I've been doing is gluing the snowflake on, and it's going to sit off of the horse just a teeny bit, and let that glue kind of sit for a second, maybe give it a press. And then I'm going to grab my scissors. And since this is technically fussy cutting, I'm using my Fiskars. These are the spring-loaded ones. They're perfect for fussy cutting. So I'm just going to follow the back of the horse and just snip the white paper for the snowflake. There we have it. That little extra scrap just gets tossed because it really can't be used for much else. Now I'll put some glue on the back of the horse one more time, and then I'll put it on my card. I kind of wish the Spellbinders would come out with a whole collection all about the Dala Horse. I think it is just so cute and just adorable. And you know, this is kind of a Christmas or winter collection, but the Dala Horse is not just for Christmas. So I think that these cards that I made, I mean, none of them have sentiments with the Dala Horse, so they could be used as a note card, or they could be used really for anything that is just kind of a cheerful thing. I don't think I'd use it for sympathy, but anything kind of happy, it would be great. And these cards are perfect for, if you will, mass producing, because with your Misty, you just have to stamp a few times and die cut out the Dala Horse and then one snowflake, and you have a card. One thing that I was doing with some of my horses was I was taking my white jelly pen and adding extra little details to the horses. You can do that. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I kind of liked to. The nice thing about starting with that textured paper was that I had something on the horse already. Alrighty, let's look at the rest of the cards that I made. We'll just start with the Swedish ones because you're probably here for that since that's the title of this video. So here's the one I just made. And then this is the Listerine green teal one. I think the teal and the red look really cute together, so that was pretty fun. And then we have another blue and yellow and red. They're all kind of the same colors, but different placements of the colors, just to stick with the theme of, like, the Swedish theme, if you will. So we have that one, and this one, and this one, and this one. I told you I went to town, did a whole bunch of them. So there's all of my Swedish cards. And I think I might play around and maybe come up with another layout for this die, but I really did have fun. I liked adding the little details you can see on these two. I added some extra details with the jelly pen and just kind of made like a little bridle and a little saddle there for it and a little detail around the mouth. So just kind of had fun with it. And then I loved this reindeer that was a part of the snowman dies, I think. And I just thought, why not just pop that on that beautiful already made background, and then I put that stamp set on there. Stamp that was just super cute. Now this one. I had a lot of fun with this one. I was actually just playing around with it while I was waiting for my device to charge to make this video. And I thought, well, this is a really cool stamp set. How can I turn that into a postcard? And here I did it. And yes, I did it off camera. I probably could have done it on camera though, but like I said, my device was charging. So what I did to make this was I used my ruler and just made a line going kind of offset up in center. And then I put 4 lines for the address. And I looked up the address for Santa online, and this is the official address for Santa. So if you want to mail something, that's the address for him, Elf Road, yes, on the North Pole. And then I just took stamps from this one stamp set and made this. I loved this little heart with the holly. I thought that was just really adorable. And then these little borders were fun too. And I did write a little funny note there that it started with the stamp, "Dear Santa, I can explain," and then I wrote, "Well, I tried my best to be good. I like a pony, please." Which to me is how kids speak, so I thought that was kind of fun. And this little stamp up here was right from that, and then the post office little stamp goes right on there. December 24th apparently is when this is going to be mailed. So I haven't put this on a card base. I kind of thought I could use it as a Christmas decoration in some way. I don't know. To be determined, I guess. Anyway, let me know your favorite one in the comments. I think my favorite would have to be this teal one or this one because I like the brightness of it. So let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. Maybe it was the postcard. I don't know. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Happy crafting. Bye.